So I think one mistake that's being made right now, and not just in the US, but me being German myself, I see this in Europe as well right now, and in Germany, that basically politicians and people at the intellectual and political elite, they assume in a way that liberal values come naturally to us once we affirm them. This is also, if you see that in the Black Lives Matter debate and in the protest, it's sort of about that moment of affirmation. And once you've affirmed it, you're in. And that is actually not the case if we look at it from a neuropolitical perspective. And so if you look at it from that perspective, from the latter perspective, you approach your constituents in a totally different way. I mean, you don't think that you just need to get that, yeah, you know, I'm an anti-racist out of them, but you see it really as a lifelong process. And also, humanization is important. So it is very hard for us to humanize our political opponents. And so I advocate for that first step of humanization, not because we want to be nice people, not because we want to be morally good, but because it is politically advantageous to us. This is a way how I would put this, and you could implement this directly in schools, at university. When you know, I mean, I'm sure you have had lots of discussions with people, you know, in your seminar rooms and in your lecture halls who don't agree with you. How do you deal with these people? And it's very hard to sort of get into their brains and get into their mental states, but it's necessary to have that first political conversation.
Yeah, if I could just jump in a little bit, because I have to second that. You know, you said a couple of things that I just had to emphasize, that shaming political opponents can backfire. And I really think that's true. As difficult as it is to kind of hold your nose and put up with these people, I think that's exactly what we need to do. You know, I think it's kind of a balancing act. Some people have criticized my work because they said, well, by explaining them, you're excusing them. And I'm glad you at least kind of recognize that that's not necessarily the case. It's just saying, you know, I don't think we're going to get anywhere. If I thought calling somebody a racist was going to make them less racist, I'd call them racist all the time. But it just doesn't work that way. That's not how they respond. It makes things worse. So I think we'd rather have to say, these people are going to exist. Even if Trump loses on Tuesday, they're going to go on, they're going to be there. And we need to figure out how to live with them. They're a minority of the population, but they're still going to be there. And I think we need to understand them so that we can, I think there are ways you can frame policy issues, for example, that would appeal to them in ways that if you did not frame it that way, the environment, for example, I think if you can say, look, this is an issue of American, you know, strength. We need to do that. You're not going to get anywhere if you just say you got a moral obligation to clean up the environment. But if you can make them believe that somehow this is something that would be good for the United States, they buy it. So, you know, that's just one example of, I think, what might help us a little bit if we understand where they're coming from better.